Okay. Hello. It's been a while since I've recorded one of these. I'm also in like multiple places at once, so this is kind of awkward for me. Hopefully that doesn't translate to here. But this isn't going to resonate 110% for everybody who's here. But if you're open to it, this should be helpful to you in some capacity. If you want to take a deep breath, because I haven't been doing that, you can take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Real messy breath, and then let it go. First card out is the Five of Swords. We have the King of Swords, and then we have... Okay, so all of the cards, I had to pause because somebody said something really silly. Um, Once again, I'm in two places. I'm on live stream and I'm also on here, so bear with me. All of the cards that came out were sword cards. We have the Five of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. So seems like a very conflicting situation. It seems like a situation where there is a lot going on. There could be a lot of dishonesty. You have the Two of Wands here. And whoever you are, whoever I'm talking to, I do get the sense that you are focused on the future. You're focused on making steps toward the future. I'm being reminded of a video that I made on TikTok earlier where I was saying that it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, but there are people in the world who don't really want to fix their problems, who would rather feel powerless. You know what I mean? And then the Six of Swords. Everything is swords. There's a lot of mental activity going on. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, a lot of... You're in your head a lot. You need to get out your head. There's a message that's coming through. 1 second. Okay. So most of the cards that came out were sword cards. So there is a lot of cerebral energy, a lot of thoughts, a lot of overthinking. I do see you taking action. I do like, because the swords also talks about taking action. It talks about movement and all that jazz. Because I was gonna say I don't like. Once again, please use discernment. Like this isn't gonna be 110% for everybody here, but we do have winner's mindset coming out. So whoever I'm talking to, I do feel like you probably have a disposition to adapt and to evolve and to grow and all that jazz. We have showing up for self. But like with the Five of Swords, there's that energy of conflict. There's that energy of like, I don't really want to be here. I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to, you know what I mean? And one thing, I do feel like you're dealing with that in the proper way. You might not think so. You might feel otherwise, but I do think that you're handling this properly. You know, especially if you're taking the time to like connect with your higher power, with your spirit guides, whatever you personally believe in. I'm gonna pull from this deck. This is probably gonna be a really janky video. Remember to practice self-love. Do not seek anyone's approval. Endings are inevitable. There does seem to be some sort of solo journey. That was almost a tongue twister. There seems to be some sort of solo journey. That was a lot of S's. There seems to be some sort of solo journey. How many times am I going to say it? That you're going on, or that you've been on. And there's something about stopping to smell the roses, I guess, with the expectations card, because there's a rose and she's smelling the rose. You could also be somebody who connects with the fae, with the fairies. I don't know if that resonates for you. All of these cards are literally solos, so there definitely is a heavy energy of solo, being a solo, being on a solo journey, if I can freaking speak. We have the Trickster and the Magician. Also, you're a very pretty princess, so somebody's ugly. I'm kidding. That's not the message. We have the Ace of Swords coming out. No, nobody's ugly. But the message that is coming through is that maybe somebody thinks that they're ugly. Somebody has low self-esteem. This could be you. This could also be somebody else. But somebody is not a fan of how they look, it seems like. But it's interesting because whoever I'm talking to, I feel like you, well, because what is beauty? What is attractiveness? That is a subjective thing, right? That is not like a solid thing. But I do feel like whoever I'm talking to, you are somebody who is considered attractive, who is considered pretty, who is considered handsome. So that's mean. Um, Seven of Swords. Yeah, I don't know. I get it though. Like whoever I'm talking to, there's a big energy of self sabotage. There's a big energy of you not really trusting your own perception. And honestly, it's probably because there have been people in your past, maybe even people in your present, who do things to make you question your perception. And like me personally, I don't really wrap my head around it quite well. I don't really get it, how people operate that way. But there are people in the world who crave control, and they will do just about anything to maintain control, even if that means hurting other people, even if that means creating confusion, even if that means hurting themselves. You know what I mean? Um, I already kind of figured this wasn't going to be a long reading. Okay, so I had to kind of pause, and I don't know why I did, but I put up all the cards. So there's an energy of like starting over, somebody starting over, I guess, if that resonates. Here we have the Ten of Cups, Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands, the Death card. And before, it was nothing but swords, which is the energy of overthinking, somebody thinking too much. And then the Death card here. Once again, somebody starting over, somebody, you know, really taking the time, really taking the energy to redirect. We have the Flower card, be honest with yourself. Mourning, the world awaits you. And also, I'm noticing in their hair, there's red and blue. She has red hair, she has blue hair. So that could be a message. There's a specific message coming through. Somebody had to. We have this card. Somebody had to really be honest with themselves before they could find happiness. I mean, because personally, if you were to ask me, I think that's one of. And then, of course, I get a text. Of course, everybody's. Okay. Because I think one of the biggest things, one of the biggest reasons why people are unhappy is because we are not always honest with ourselves about what is going on, about how we are showing up. You know, we have the King of Cups here. And that could have been your story, that could have been somebody else's story close to you, somebody who was not being honest with themselves and was very unhappy, and once they decided to be more honest with themselves, they experienced more flow, more happiness, more abundance, all that stuff. I'm curious as to why the Nine of Wands comes out. What is the Nine of Wands about? The Nine of Wands is generally about being closed off, being defensive. We have the Eight of Cups and the Hermit. That's interesting. That's really interesting. For some of you, I'm getting the energy of somebody being closed off from being vulnerable, from being. Oh, and then we have the Magician card here. Yeah, somebody not really. There's a lot of resistance with this message. But yeah, it's the energy of somebody who maybe unnecessarily walks away from things. Honestly, it's giving the energy of somebody who creates issues and then walks away, you know, who creates a mess and then walks away from the mess and is like, oh, there's a mess, but then they don't do anything to fix it. Yeah, with the Magician card, the Ace of Pentacles, this could be a work situation. It could also not be a work situation. I'm really not getting too much of a work situation. For some of you, it might be a work situation, but generally, this is just life. This is just, you know, what's going on with the Ten of Wands? What are we letting go of? What are we moving away from? We have the Page of Cups. We have the Tower, the Ace of Pentacles. Walking away from immature people, immature situations, situations that do not have a solid foundation. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. I don't know, this sort of energy, some of the energy that's coming through, it's honestly, it's very destructive, but there's a part of me that's like, it's very sad, because it's like, you could easily fix this if you just chose to do better, chose to look at the problem, and you know what I mean? Why is, okay, lol. But yeah, it's that sort of energy with the Tower card coming through. And yes, this deck is very cute. It looks very cutesy, but the Tower card is usually about a divine intervention. It's about, because you did not have a solid foundation, now your tower has to crumble so you can rebuild. And a lot of people, I remember, like, when I was first learning, the Tower card is one of those cards that nobody really wants to get. But it's not that bad. There's, like, when you really understand the story of each card, nothing's really that bad, you know? Because the Tower, the silver lining of the Tower is that it's a chance for us to rebuild. It's a chance for us to do better next time. But that isn't going to happen if you refuse to look at the foundation, if you refuse to look at what happened to make it go wrong in the first place. You know? And once again, with the be honest with yourself, like, and there's a phrase that I keep with me that I really like. Somebody's capacity for growth is determined directly by how much truth that they can face without running away, you know? And a lot of us, unfortunately, we squirm, we run so far away from painful truths. And, you know, it's no judgment, it's no shame when I say this, but it is a very clear sign of immaturity if you're not able to look at the truth without running away, you know? Let's see, what else wants to come through? We have the King of Cups again, the Five of Swords, the Six of Swords. Yeah, you could be the King of Cups. The King of Cups could also be somebody else, but there's definitely an energy of somebody moving away from conflict, moving away from some sort of challenge. And I didn't mean to say challenge, but challenges generally are an opportunity for us to grow. And another quote that I really like is that, okay, so I actually forgot what the other quote was. I literally don't remember what I was about to say. Okay, so some of you might identify as empaths. I personally don't like the term empath, but it's not about the term, it's about the energy. And when I say empath, that is a more magical term rather than just having empathy. Like, if you need the explanation, that is the difference. Empathy is like a basic human trait. Being an empath is like a more mystical thing. It's an extra sensory ability, being able to pick up on the feelings of others, usually created from trauma, usually created from abuse. But the reason why I say that is some of you might be feeling a little bit guilty for somebody, and that's a normal feeling. I'm not telling you to, like, disregard that sensation, disregard that feeling, but what I am saying is that you should aim to not allow that guilt to eat you up inside, not allow that guilt to dictate your movements. Now, obviously, situational awareness is important, but, like, whoever this Page of Cups, this King of Cups, this Magician, whoever this energy is that is, like, being super destructive, because once again, it's that sort of energy of, like, yes, it is destructive, but it's also like, you could easily fix this if you just stopped trying to play victim, if you stopped trying to, you know. And I don't know, I realize that is easier said than done. Like, as a person who has done the inner work, who has done what they need, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can talk very easily and be like, oh, well, you just need to do this, but I personally can't wrap my head around why people even exist this way, so there's that little bit of detachment. Like, I don't even know why this is going on, so I don't even understand why you just don't, you know what I mean? But it's that sort of energy. We had Frozen Heart in reverse, technically in reverse, but I don't use reversals. The Trickster, the Magician card comes out again. Whoever I'm talking to, I don't know. What's the most important thing for whoever is here, for whoever is watching this, whoever is in front of me right now? What is? Ooh. You can manifest anything that you want, but you need to stop doubting yourself, and also separately, you really need to forgive yourself and forgive the people that hurt you. I'm not saying that you need to allow them back into your energy. I'm not saying that you need to be their friend again, but there is the energy of letting things go, releasing the past. One second. And the other thing that I was gonna say, I cannot remember what the quote was. I was gonna say another quote, but and I'm losing my train of thought again. Yeah, okay. So whoever I'm talking to, I meant to say this before. You might be dealing with a lot of distractions, and that's okay. Um, there are many different ways to deal with distractions. Um, but one of those ways is knowing thyself. There's a lot of mental chatter going on. Like, it's not discernible. I'm not like hearing anything, but there's a lot of like noise at this time. And that could easily, like, I just want to be transparent, that could easily just be what's going on here for me. But if you're aligned with me, if you're watching this and it resonates, take it as it resonates. But there's a lot of noise. Like, there's a lot of like static as I'm trying to, because I like, things are just coming and going. I'm trying to stay focused. Yeah, somebody's really going through it, I guess. And you might be inclined to feel bad for them. I'm not saying to abandon how you naturally feel. Like, if you naturally feel guilty, or if you naturally feel like sad for somebody, I'm not saying don't feel that. But once again, just understand healthy boundaries and knowing that, like, there are people who, even though they might deserve the sympathy, will jump at the opportunity to take advantage of your sympathy. You know what I mean? Like, legitimately, somebody could be like boohoo crying and being like, I feel like a fucking loser, I feel like everybody hates me, and I wish that I could do better. And then at the moment somebody picks up on that, and the moment somebody is like, it's okay, you don't need to feel that way, they flip switch, or switch flips, and they're like, I'm gonna take control of this moment, this is my moment, you know. And it's like, it's a really sick energy, which is why I feel like it is really necessary that you be mindful of not allowing your empathy to lead you down the wrong path. You know, because it's really sad, because you want to feel bad for these people, you want to feel sad for these people, but it's just like, you know, it's just like, you were almost there, you almost earned my sympathy, but then you did that, and it's just like, I don't know, because then it comes to a point where you just need to protect yourself, you know, and it's like, your safety becomes more important than like the feelings attached, you know what I mean? And for some of you, that is a message. It's like, really consider whether or not somebody's feelings are more important than like your livelihood. Because then also, like, I was scrolling on TikTok earlier, and somebody was explaining an episode of Sex and the City, and don't ask me the characters, but one of the characters got pregnant, and she wanted to get an abortion because it just didn't make sense. Like, she was a career woman, she wanted to continue, I think it was Miranda, she wanted to continue working and, you know, all that jazz. And one of her other friends, meanwhile, was trying to conceive and got mad at her when she told her that she was trying to have an abortion because she was trying to conceive. And so to preserve her feelings, I guess she went through the pregnancy, and like I guess her character arc kind of went down. She suffered a lot because of that, and it's the energy of like mistakenly prioritizing somebody else's feelings or the discomfort of somebody else over your livelihood, over what you know is best for you, you know. Like it's the energy of disappointing someone for the sake of your own happiness, you know. And the alternative would be abandoning yourself, abandoning your own happiness, abandoning your own peace for the feelings of others. And I don't think that's a good idea. Like, if you're contemplating it, if you're thinking about it, oh, should I just go through it? Should I just bite the bullet for this person? No. I mean, because one factor of it is this person probably wouldn't do the same thing for you if the roles were reversed. They probably would not give a flying toot, you know? So that's something to consider. I'm going to end this here. I really did not think I was going to get over 20 minutes. So thank you for being here. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. If you would like a personal reading, if you would like a private reading, you're welcome to check out the description down below. Either way, make sure to stay hydrated, take care of yourself, and deuces.